Welcome back, everybody. So we'll start with our standard question. Who you, what to do, and why?
Okay, that's three questions, but sure. I'm James Morrison, and that's the short answer about who I am. Uh, the next one was what I do.
Yes.
Well, let's see. For a living, I'm an actor, and I'm a playwright and a filmmaker and a father and husband, handyman. Um, let's see what else. Chore doer, uh, yogi. The list is endless. I mean, I could go on and on. What was
You
the
don't
third
only have
part?
range in your acting.
What was the third question?
Why do you do it?
Oh, why do I do it? Well, let's see. I think the main reason is why I do anything really is because it's fun. And if it's not fun, I don't do it.
Well, all right. Good explanation as any.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Why does anyone do anything? Sheer, absolute boredom.
That's right.
I make life a little bit more fun. Is there anything you're working on right now that you'd like to tell our audience about?
Well, first you can tell me who is your audience exactly? Who am I speaking to?
We got a bit of a minor audience right now, but just people around.
Wait a minute. Does that mean few people or?
Me, the
You're
director.
building.
A few people.
You're building an audience. You're building a following. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plus,
we all are.
Also, I'm trying to get some of the students from my radio, TV, film classes at my college into this, so people can learn it.
Oh, you mentioned your college. Yeah, where is it? Where are you again?
University of Texas at Austin.
In Austin.
Yes. Well, remote.
Great. Where? Oh, yeah, I love Austin. Well, let's see. Why do I do it? Is that where we left off?
What are you working on right now?
Oh, what am I working on?
Yes.
Well, it's pretty slow, as you know. We're all kind of remote, so I'm working from home. I've been doing a lot of writing.
All right.
I'm working on, learning some. Well, I'm taking Spanish lessons.
Hey, so am I.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, currently going into a Spanish 2 course at UT.
Oh, Spanish too. Oh, you're way ahead of me.
That's debatable.
Yeah. What else are you studying? What is your major? What is your interest?
Double majoring radio, TV, film, and journalism, and my interest is this.
This is your deal, huh?
Yes. Also,
like vlogging.
I'm interviewing you, Mister.
Hey, come on now.
I already went through the interviewee trying to interview me with Jackie Cation. I ain't falling for this again.
You're not falling for it? Okay. I couldn't reel you in, huh? So what's isn't this about the time of the year that South by Southwest happens, or that's not during Sundance? Is it? That wouldn't be wise.
Usually is around March, but
March. Okay, yeah.
Doubtful it's gonna happen.
I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah, it's rather a
Yeah.
shame we can't do it this year.
Yeah, it's called shut down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's an amazing town.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead. Sorry.
Over the course of your career, you've worked fairly steadily and gotten around all sorts of shows. So, what would you say has been the key to your amount of success?
Perseverance.
All right.
Not giving up, no matter how many times I'm told no.
Just a strong work ethic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I that's one thing aside from learning how to drive that my dad taught me.
So it's work
Work,
ethic, stubbornness, and a driver's license.
well, stubbornness, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who taught me that. I think I came here with that, but he did teach me a good work ethic. I started working when I was about 13, 14,
All right.
and didn't decide to be an actor until I was 19 or 20. But up until then, I worked, made my own way. You know, yeah, I always had money in my pocket because I had little jobs here and there while going to school and stuff.
So I'm guessing with that lifestyle, you're intimately familiar with the audition process.
I'm intimately familiar with the audition process, yes, much to my chagrin.
I think it's much to everybody's chagrin when you're getting into this.
In fact, I'm so intimately involved in it that I decided to my first feature film should be about the audition.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Okay, well that's one thing you need to put on your list.
Definitely. I'm in school currently, so not a lot of time available to me.
Hey, it's 90 of the best minutes you'll ever spend.
All right, I'll hold you to that.
Okay.
Where can I see it?
Well, we were streaming. We're working out a deal so that you can. In fact, you know, which school are you in again? The University of which one?
University of Texas at Austin.
University of Texas at Austin. I'm not sure if that's one of the schools that has purchased the film or not. They might have it in their library. We've sold gosh, 150 maybe to universities around the country for use in their programs.
Right.
It's called Showing Up, and it's called Showing Up: A Conversation About the Audition, and it's about 60 of our most well-known working actors. You'll recognize all of them, talking about how they feel about the audition and what it means to them, and how they deal with it, different aspects of it, and in fact, going back to perseverance, that's what it boils down to, is just keep going back and keep going back, no matter how many times you're told no. Right. You know. Yeah, they should have a class. In fact, they should have a class in that at your school. Perseverance 101.
I think that'd just be like repeatedly going to class like, you'll never do anything, you're not good, and then your answer just always has to be, oh, hell no, screw you.
Yeah, and I'm coming back to class tomorrow to hear you tell me that again. Yeah.
Excellent.
That's what the class would be, exactly.
Where will this film be, or is it streaming anywhere, like on any streaming services?
Yeah, well, I didn't finish that. We're currently working on a way to purchase. You can purchase a DVD. I know DVDs are sort of passé, but
nah, I prefer the physical copies of things.
Do you? Well, then drop me an email and we'll see if we can get you one.
Hey. I was up for some free stuff.
If you go to the website, and this is for your rapidly growing viewing audience. If you go to the website showingupmovie.com, there'll be information there about the film and who's in it, and how to purchase a DVD. Also, for educators, it'll tell you how to get it for your program, your acting program, or your it doesn't really just apply to actors. I mean, we all audition, right? You're auditioning for me right now.
Yeah. And the conversations earlier, you auditioned to be in this interview.
I'm telling you, man, you're doing really well too. I just want you to know you're going to get the part, I think.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of all this acting business, so I was doing some research, and I saw that you started out your career as a circus clown in Alaska?
No, I grew up in Alaska, and I left Alaska when I was about 20, 21, spent a year in New York, doing some training, and a little bit of theater while I was there, and then I moved back to Salt Lake City, where I have family and spent the earliest part of my life. But I ended up joining the circus from Salt Lake City when I was about 21. We never made it to Texas, but we did tour the South, and I ended up leaving because of an injury to my soul. Basically, it was a terrible, terrible experience. So it wasn't fun, and but I had to get it out of my system, and it prepared me actually in a perverse sort of way for my future as an actor in television and in Los Angeles.
Oh, yes, because I
Because
was
it
going
was
to
so,
ask you,
yeah.
you seem to have mostly done dramatic parts over your career. So is the reason for less comedic roles because of past trauma with this?
No, I love comedy. I love, you know, I've done a lot of it on stage, and haven't done a lot in television and film. A couple of sitcoms here and there, but I usually play the straight man. I usually play you know, the priest or the boss or you know, what else did I play? Oh, the boyfriend on Frasier, uh, Frasier's ex-wife's boyfriend. Um, you know, I don't really know. I think I think I have a natural sort of intensity that people haven't discovered my lighter, more charming and witty side yet. But it's maybe I keep a lid on it. Through my work, you know. I mean, I don't. You know, we end up getting typecast as you know, whether we like it or not. So I think that's probably why.
Well, the straight man is a very important part to play in a comedic role. Like, I end up being in that position a lot. Because my appearance tends to be like, yes, we have this block to work off of, and then we have this funny guy over here to work off of that.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, it is important.
It's not easy.
Yeah. Tis a thankless job.
It's a thankless job. That's right. I mean, for example, I play in one of the few Shakespeare comedies. In fact, I think I've only done one, Twelfth Night. I played Orsino, which is a thankless, thankless part, and completely the straight guy throughout. Everybody else is a clown, you know.
Well, now we're talking.
So that sort of sums it up right there.
And personally, I love doing Shakespeare. Like the more recent thing I had done was a production of The Tempest. I played Caliban, a monster.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and had two other actors playing the funny guys off of me. So, it is what it is.
Good for you, man. Great part.
Is there a stage role that you've always wanted to do?
Yeah, you know, there was. Well, I wanted to do, and I still could do Petruchio in Taming of the Shrew. That would be fun. The other role that I always wanted to do and never got a chance to do was James Tyrone in Moon for the Misbegotten. I worked on that for a long time, and in various staged readings and, you know, workshop productions, and just studying it on my own. It's such a beautiful play, but I never got the chance to do it.
Personally, I've always wanted to play Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet.
There you go.
That's
that.
One of the best death scenes.
Yeah, that's another one. That would be on my list too.
Dying well is the best publicity.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, do you prefer stage or screen acting?
I think I prefer being on stage with a live audience. Is there's just nothing like it. Yeah, I'd have to say that's my.
I can definitely attest to the benefits of a live audience. Like, initially, when we started out this show, we had like a small live audience to work off of, but now
Oh, wow.
having to use an extra screen and some Zoom calls with some other people in order to have like an audience because it's good to have the reaction.
Oh, so you're going to be putting a laugh track over our interview?
No, no, we don't have it for the interview. Don't worry.
No? Okay.
No, actually, I'm like, okay, guys, laugh at him now.
You've got a little button there that you push. What? Well, we do. Actually, we do have a pretty good audience there.
Yeah. Well, the director laughs easily with these sorts of things.
Well, I appreciate it. What was I going to say about live? Oh, the thing about live performance that I appreciate most is that it's an actor's medium. I mean, we're in control of it from curtain up to curtain down. Nobody's going to cut your scene out of the thing, and nobody's going to, you don't have to rely on anybody else for the edit of how it works, and it's yours. As my friend Pat Hingle, the character actor, told me, with film and television, you just take the money and go home. But the stage is where we, at a certain level, the working stiff actor just shows up and does their job and goes home. But on the stage, it's ours. I mean, we own that for the however long. We're all a captive to this ritual that takes place in the theater. It's a beautiful thing.
Plus, there's a lot more risk to it. Like if you mess up on screen, then you just like cut, look back, background actors, go, and rolling, and 3, 2, 1, action. But like with stage, if you mess up, you just gotta keep going and try and make it look natural.
That's right.
So, going over to the screen part of your career, you had a 4-season run on a popular TV series. What's the upside or downside of working on a series long term versus one-off appearances on different shows?
There's really no upside to a one-off appearance on a show. Seriously, I mean, it's a paycheck when you need it, and it's a residual when you need it too. And you meet some people in passing that are lovely, but it's just sort of it exemplifies the freelance actor's experience, and it's not a pretty one, because usually you're invited to this dinner, and then when you sit down at the table with the people, most of them look at you like, what are you doing here? And that's the sort of the experience. It's not always the case. Sometimes they're very warm and welcoming, but for the most part, you're just, a hired hand. On the other hand, working on a show for a while, even as a recurring part, so you can come back over time, or, but especially on 24, which is what you're referring to.
Yes. That
was a real joy, because you get to play the same person for years, and it's like a long run of a play, new discoveries all the time, and deepening of your understanding of yourself in the circumstances, in the story. It's a wonderful experience, and plus, you're working with people that you become family with over time. I mean, I have friends for life from that experience that you don't really have when you walk in and you're there for 7 days, 8 days, and you walk away. I mean, you never see those people again. They're just sort of ships passing in the night.
Well, at least on the short gigs, you get to keep your SAG insurance.
Yeah, it helps do. Yes. There is that about it. That's a good thing. Yes.
I was like, hey, are you working right now? Like, yes. I did a cameo on this. As what? As yourself? No, I played this minor character. I have a name. We'll be watching you.
That was a pretty good little scene you just did there. That was good. I like it.
Happens all the time in my house. It's improv. So, over the years, you've worked with a lot of high-profile actors, directors, all sorts of people. So, do you still occasionally get starstruck?
Oh, yeah, all the time. In fact, right before I signed on to see you, I found out that Cloris Leachman has passed away.
Oh no! Man.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
and
no!
I never worked with her, um, but she's the only person that my wife and I made it a point to track down so we could stop her and say how much we love you and you know thank you for everything. Um, so yeah, I mean, there are people who yeah, I mean, I'm no different than anybody else. I'm an audience, and I love people who are really good at what they do, and if I have a chance now to tell them, um, I do, because I know how much it means to you when somebody says, you really affected me with your performance, or what, thank you for the tunes that you gave us, or thank you for all those great performances. It meant a lot to me, and because it it means a lot to people when you tell them um, that they're appreciated. So sure, I get starstruck.
Well, at least I can take this opportunity to say thank you for meeting with me, and thank you for doing all the art that you do.
Oh, that's nice, man. Thank you.
Yeah, trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
Appreciate it.
Got pretty deep there. Is there anyone in particular that stands out that you got to work with personally on any of the shows that you worked on?
Who I felt that way about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I mentioned my friend Pat Hingle. I know you'd know Pat if you Googled him and saw his face. He did, hundreds of things that you've seen over the years. He passed away. Oh gosh, 12 years ago now, I think. But he was like a father figure to me, and in fact, we did Cat on a Hot Tin Roof together twice, Big Daddy and Brick, and I got to know Pat really well. He was one of them because I grew up watching him, in films and television. He's one of the guys that was in the Actors Studio from the '50s, like with Jimmy Dean and Paul Newman and that school, back in the '50s. So that's a generation that really, really had an influence on me as an actor. But I mean, I'm no different than anybody else. It depends. The important thing about what we're talking about, though, is that you have to, and this sort of speaks to an issue that I have as a human being, and I've always had this ever since my college theater production days, is with stage fright. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because if I'm not completely focused on the world that I'm inhabiting as the character, I let that other stuff get in my head, and it makes me nervous. Because I'm not talented enough to not be prepared, So I really have to focus on the story and being in the story. If I let that other stuff get in my head, it throws me off my game. So if I when I get nervous or excited or starstruck about working with somebody, I have to really work to get through that, because I can't let it affect my and I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I think like I said, I just need to be really, really prepared and focused, so I don't let that stuff throw me.
I do know that experience. Like once you get into particularly for me, it was in stage productions where once you get to the actual show day, and like you're nervous because what if I don't do this? What if I don't do this? And then once you actually have to get into character, then it all just sort of fades away if you're able to get into the groove.
Yeah, and get into the groove, man. That's right.
Plus, then if there's any problems with the other actors or if anybody else, then I'm not mad at them. I'm looking at their character right now, and then after continue the feud.
That's right.
Yeah, gotta save your spite for the proper moment.
Save your what?
Save your spite.
Save your spite. Yes, that's good advice.
So, going back to the thing you brought up of like different generations of acting roles and entertainment in general, over the course of your career, in what ways would you say that the entertainment industry has gotten better, and in what ways it's gotten worse?
Well, I don't know if I don't know if I look at it better or worse. I just look at it as different. Uh, it's changed a lot in the 35. Let's see, how long have I been in SAG? 1984. I chose to be an actor because I couldn't do math. So um, since then, though, since I joined SAG and became working in television, um, I think it's only gotten. I mean, the changes have been because the medium have expanded. There are more medium. There's more. There are more venues now for the work. I mean, I'm watching Zoom theater now. That's kind of bizarre, but and working in it too. I mean, in readings, and we've done little Zoom movies and stuff. I mean, we dream of doing this in the 80s or even the 90s. I mean, when I was a kid, we used to say, "Gosh, wouldn't it be great to live in the future when you can like talk on a video screen?" I mean, now So I don't know if it's for the worse or the better. It's just different,
I guess that's very
and you have to
wise.
adjust. And if you don't, you adapt or die, right?
Yep. Improvise, adapt, overcome, simplify.
That's right. Or as they say in kindergarten, you get what you get, and you don't get upset.
FYI, the director just told me that she was able to find the website and then pick up a copy of your film. So probably watch it tonight.
Well,
Oh, that's great. Great. Well, thank your director for me.
Well, he says thank you.
yeah, I heard him.
Appreciate it. Yeah, let me know what you think.
Definitely.
Certainly will.
Okay.
So bringing it all back, just to wrap it up real quick.
Sure.
There's a final question. Or were you gonna say something?
No.
Okay. So a final question that we're asking all the guests this season. If you had a magic wand or a monkey's paw or some other magical item that would allow you to change two things about the world, what would you change?
Oh my. Well, I think the first two things off the top of my head would be that people that we find a way to help people understand the difference between facts and beliefs in terms of in the context of science and that sort of thing. The other thing, I guess, I would two things I would change about the world. Okay, that's one.
That's why I made it two, because it's easy to like boil it down to one, but then give you the second option.
So this is going to be like for the last half hour of your interview, where I'm trying to think of out of the dozens of things that I would change, I have to pick one more.
Or is there anything like if nobody knew, is there anything selfish you'd wish for yourself for that second wish?
Now, I think the second thing would be that we eliminate pediatric cancers.
Ah, that's a good one. We haven't gotten anything like that yet.
Yeah, no, we've experienced it in our family. So in my house, the outcome was positive, but it was but with a lot of families, of course, it isn't, and also it. In keeping with that, I would say that we recognize that it's one of the things that causes families, who knows how many untold hundreds of thousands of families to go bankrupt because of the healthcare costs surrounding not only pediatric cancers, but all cancers really. And I think that that's kind of three things, though, isn't it? I would say pediatric cancers and healthcare for people with pre-existing conditions, because I think they go hand in hand.
Okay.
You know. See, I told you I could do comedy.
And now that you've broken the director,
Yeah, that's our
I think
last track. You be careful.
that's probably a good place to wrap it up. So thank you, James Morrison, for joining us today. Everybody, we'll be right back.
Thanks, Xander.